Hey guys, welcome back to Way of the Hunter. Now, this game has been out a week already, and I've been playing it for a week. And I thought it was time for me to give you guys my review of the game. What we're going to do is we're going to discuss the things that I really like about the game, the things that I feel make the game very unique to the genre. We're going to go over some things that I think could be improved. Yes, I know in the past videos I've been going on so much about how much I love the game, but there are some things I feel could be improved upon, and we're going to talk about those. And guys, for the sake of time, I am going to just outline a few of the things that stand out to me the most. Obviously, I could talk about things in this game for a very long time, but we don't want to do that. So, Way of the Hunter. It is an open-world hunting game set in the Nez Perce Valley in the state of Idaho. What you're going to want to do is when you start the game, you're going to have to do the first 4 story missions, I believe. And once you get those done, then you unlock the whole game. Multiplayer, the Transylvania map, and you can unlock the store to where you can start earning money to buy various weapons and collars and equipment that's available to you in the game. Now, I should point out that the story missions, they're not necessary. They're completely optional. You do not have to do any of the missions if you don't want to, other than the first 4. And did we spook those deer already? Huh. You don't have to do any of the story missions. They're all optional. The only thing you do have to do is the first 4 to unlock things. But once you get those under your belt, then the game is unlocked and you can do whatever you want. And you can literally play this game for thousands of hours without ever touching the story mission if that's how you choose to play the game. So that being said, guys, let's get into some of the things that I feel really stand out about this game compared to other games. And look, guys, I'm going to be straight up with you here, okay? Call of the Wild has been around for like 5 or 6 years. That's the game I've played for a very long time. I've been playing that game ever since the year it came out. So that's literally the only thing I have to compare a hunting game to. Okay, so the very first and foremost thing I want to talk about with this game that stands out is the genetics and the growing of animals and how the need zones work. Okay, because the animals on this map will grow. Okay, so if you see a young animal, which, let's see here, maybe we can spot one, I don't know, but if you see a young deer, for instance, they will grow. They will grow into an adult, they will grow into a mature animal, and then they will die. Now, when they die, they'll just disappear. You're not going to see the map. It's not going to be cluttered full of dead carcasses that you'll stumble upon. They just disappear, and then they'll respawn into a young animal again. Now, the interesting thing about how this works is that they not only have an age level, but they also have a fitness level. So what you want to do is you want to take out the animals that have the worst genetics, right, and leave the animals that have the good genes. Now, that doesn't mean you can't take out animals with good genes, but you want to have a good balance. So animals that are good genes would be like a 4 and 5 star animal that's mature. And we have mule deer calling. So now this is another thing, guys. They're 273 yards out. In this game, the spook distance is a lot farther than Call of the Wild. Once you get around 200 meters, you want to be slow walking like this so you don't spook them. So, speaking of the genetics, you have to actually look at the animal to see what you're working with. So the fact that it'll tell you that, you know, it's a 3-star adult, that's great. But you need to actually look at it to see what the potential is. So if the antlers look really good, if the animal looks really healthy, that has the potential to grow into a 4 or 5 star. When you're looking at a mature animal, you're going to want to see how old it is, because it has the potential to grow even more. So if it's a mature animal that just came into the mature stage, it's still going to look much like an adult. The older it gets, it's going to change appearances. The fur is going to change color. It's going to get patchy. The antlers are going to look different. They're going to be more sun bleached, possibly stained, cracked, stuff like that. I've noticed the facial features of the animals, they'll change as well. Colorings will get darker in the face. And these are things you need to look for when deciding what animal you want to harvest. And that is just by far the greatest thing I feel that has ever come to a hunting game. You know, and it's just, yeah, I don't know. There's not much more I can say about it, guys. It's just absolutely fantastic. The need zones, unlike Call of the Wild, there's no guarantee that the animals will come back to the need zone at the exact same time. You have need zones that have different use out of them. You're going to find need zones that it's going to say this one's used frequently. You're going to find need zones that's going to say this is used rarely. It's going to be used often and stuff like that. So you have to keep these things all in mind when you're going through, because I've seen a lot of people saying things like, you know, animals are coming back to the need zone. I go to the need zone and there's no animals there on there at the time that they're supposed to be drinking. Well, your need zone might be one that's only used rarely. So you have to make sure you know that and you know which ones to go to. Also, hunting pressure in this game works a lot different. If you shoot up an area a lot, the animals will move out. They'll just move out of the area. They'll find different need zones in a different area. Stop hunting that land for a while, and eventually the animals will start to trickle back. But it's not like Call of the Wild in that aspect. So I think we got close enough to these guys. Let's throw up the drone here and see if we can't see the deer, because I would definitely like to show you guys what the animals look like. Okay, so we can't see them too good, but they are there. So let's unpause it. Oh, hold on. I screwed up. I hit the wrong button. Okay. So, this is what I'm talking about, guys. As you can see, these animals here, you know, they're going to look different. Each deer, they could be the same level, but if the genetics are better on one, then their antlers and everything are going to look more different. And this is going to be the second thing I want to talk about. The animal models and their behavior. So as you can see, their ears are twitching, the tails are swishing, they're looking up, they're checking their surroundings, they're making sure everything's cool, they're making sure that it's still safe. You know what I mean? If you get close to them and they get alerted, you'll see them sniffing the air. You'll see them, they'll stare at you. They'll stop and they'll stare in your direction. Okay? These are all things that you're going to see in the game. If they make a call, you'll actually see them. Okay? You'll actually see the animals make the call. And it is just incredible. The attention to detail in this game is just incredible. And it's the small details as well. Just like I'm saying, just like now. You know, you see the tail swish around. And look at him. Look at that guy right there. You can see their ears twitching. It's those little details like that that just make the game so impressive to me. The blood trails. The blood trails look really realistic, guys. You know, they're not... I don't feel like the developers are really worried too much about offending people. I think they're like, look, this is a hunting game. This is how it is. The blood trails, you're going to see the blood on everything. If I shot that buck right there and he came running through those bushes, you're going to see blood on the leaves of the bushes. You're going to see blood on the rocks. You're going to see blood on little plants. You won't see blood in the water because just like real life, the water would wash it away. And as you can see, guys, we have moving water in this game, which is just incredible. And again, it's just little details. These animals, if they spook and they run off into high grass, they'll leave trails. So you can follow their path through the grass to kind of figure out where they went. It's just little details like that that really make the game stand out to me. Sounds and immersiveness, okay? This is probably the most immersive hunting game I have ever played. The sounds are so good. The sounds of the water, you know, like right now, we're by a stream. You can hear it. You can hear the water moving. If you're by a lake, You can kind of hear the waves lapping up on the shores. It is so good. You hear everything. The ambient birds are just spot on. You hear bugs flying around. You hear so much. If these deer here, if they ran off and they ran off into the woods, you're going to hear underbrush. You're going to hear cracking of branches. You're going to hear all of that. And it is just so refreshing to have a game that adds that kind of immersiveness. So now I just want to talk about a little bit here, and we're going to sneak up, see if we can't get one of these guys. We're going to talk about the tracking, because the tracking in this game, guys, it is difficult. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's not an easy thing. There's no directional cones in this game. You can't highlight the blood in neon colors that they light up to show you where they went. The blood, you have to look at the blood. You have to figure out where they went based on what direction the blood is facing. And basically what happens is when you shoot an animal, you'll see a blood splatter. And it'll be like, you'll see a lot of blood, and then it'll trail off to like narrowness. And wherever that narrow kind of strip of blood trails off, that's the direction you're going to want to follow. You can use a Hunter Sense. I have Hunter Sense on right now. That's how I can see them vocalizing. If I shut that off, you don't see anything. Okay, so another thing I should point out, guys, there are 4 levels of difficulty. I am on the 2nd level. I'm on Adventure. That's kind of the default. The highest level of difficulty on here is the Ranger difficulty, and the animals are super aware, super heightened senses. You don't get the use of the Hunter Sense. Oh, and I just messed up. No, I didn't. Okay. So, yeah, you don't get the use of the Hunter Sense. You don't get any information. It is literally like you're out there hunting. It is just you, them, and your weapon. That's it. That's all it is. Another standout feature I feel of the game is the weapons. They do use licensed weapons, so you're going to get name brands in the game. You're going to get like Winchester, Steyr, Leupold for the sights. You're going to get Primos calls. They're going to be adding new brands, all the time. They're going to be working, trying to put new brands in the game. I know a lot of people that's important. Me personally, it's not that important to me, but I totally get why, people that hunt in real life, they want to see the brands they're used to in their favorite hunting game. I totally get that. A couple things I want to point out about this game, guys. And this is one of the reasons why this game has impressed me so much over the Hunter Call of the Wild. And basically, it just seems like these developers have listened to a lot of things that the Call of the Wild community has been wanting for years. And they gave us most of those things at the launch. So, Auto Walk. We have Auto Walk. Yes, it is a Call of the Wild now, but it took forever to get. Okay, we have Trophy Lodges already in the game. Again, Call of the Wild has them. Took a very long time to get. True Racks. There's a True Rack system in this game. It's not called True Racks, of course, but it's the same idea. And again, it's in the game. And they're just like that. They're all spooked. And I have no idea why. That's the one thing I have to learn more about this game, is that I can only get within 109 yards, and then prone, I have to what, take the shot? I can't get any closer than that. So now, we will talk about that in a second, because that is going to be something that I talk about when it comes to things that I feel need to be improved. So just for the hell of it, let's throw up the photo mode here and see if we can't figure out where they ran off to. Okay, they just absolutely booked it, didn't they? Ah. They moved down that way. So, this is an aspect of the game that's under a lot of controversy, guys. This is the photo mode. This is the camera. And, you can move it around. You can go way up high with it. You can kind of scout around to see where the animals are. This is something that some people feel is an exploit. I personally don't feel it is, because there is a perk in the game that lets you get even 50% more distance with the camera. So I do feel the developers wanted you to use this as kind of a scouting tool. And you know what? If you bought the game, I feel you should be able to use whatever you want. You know what I mean? If this is how you want to play the game to figure out where the animals went, then I say go for it. You know, if it's something that you're against, then don't use it. It's as simple as that. But the last point I want to make about this game that really impressed me, and it has to do with the developers, guys, because in the first week of launch of this game, it already experienced a very large game-breaking bug on the PS5, and the developers, they acted very quickly and within a day or two fixed it. Right? They pinpointed the problem, they worked on it, and they got the patch out like that. Okay, I believe like Wednesday, they found that there was a bug that was corrupting the save file. Thursday, they found out that it was due to harvesting anything higher than 49 animals. Friday afternoon, they had a patch, and they actually patched this game at like midnight their time. So the dedication that shows me that these developers have is just outstanding. You know, I'm sorry, but again, I have to compare it to EW, where, you know, they make us wait until the next DLC launches. You know, so if there's bugs that came out in the game back in May, you know, they say, well, you're not going to get them fixed until we release the next DLC in, you know, June. You know, and then when they release the Reventuli map, I guess that there's still a bug in the game where people can't finish the story on the map. And guess what? That's not going to get patched until they release the next DLC, whenever the hell that's going to be. You know what I mean? I know that the next map should be out around Christmas time. So, you know, do we potentially have to wait all the way to December to get the game fixed? That just doesn't make any sense to me. These developers were just right on the ball with getting that major bug fixed, and they have a whole list of things that they're fixing. They have some that are going to be coming out as soon as possible, and then they just released a whole roadmap. I did a video on that. You guys can check that out. And I'm just thoroughly impressed by the developers and their dedication to making this game, you know, a good running game. Now look at, the game has its bugs. Okay, it's got some graphical glitches, and I'm not going to beat the developers up on that. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and see what happens. So, what we're going to talk about next is what I feel needs improving in the game. And again, guys, these are the biggest things. I'm not talking about little glitches. I'm not talking about little graphical glitches and stuff like that. I'm not going to talk about the disappearing blood glitch because they know about that and they're working on it. Okay, so I'm just talking about some things that I've noticed in the game that I feel need improving. The tree hitboxes. The tree hitboxes are weird. Okay, sometimes a leaf can stop your bullet, a tiny branch can stop your bullet. That definitely needs to be fixed. We've seen this in Call of the Wild as well. They fixed it. It seems like this is a pretty normal problem to have in a game like this, but it's definitely something that needs to be fixed. The waterfowl hunting. Duck and geese hunting in this game, it's just not that great. It really isn't. It's really lacking. I mean, it really feels like what it used to be in Call of the Wild. Call of the Wild has the waterfowl hunting all over this game. Call of the Wild, duck hunting and geese hunting, so much better. This game, they really need to improve upon that, and they really need to improve on the mallard duck models. The mallard duck models look horrible in the harvest screen. In the actual lodge and on the map, they look good, but in the harvest screen, they look absolutely horrible. Climbing slopes. Climbing slopes in this game is so frustrating. And again, this seems to be an issue with hunting games. Call of the Wild had it. They had the same issue. And I believe they fixed it when, the Quattro Climbs map came out. I think they fixed that where you could climb better. This game, they very much need it. There's a lot of places that it seems that you could climb up and you just keep sliding down and you can't. So that's really annoying. trees. There's trees. There's down trees that in real life you could just step on them and walk over them. And in this game, they just stop you dead in your tracks. You have to either walk around them or take like a running jump over the tree. It's very strange to me. Same thing with some rocks. I mean, there's some rocks that you could clearly just walk over, but you can't. They just stop you dead in your tracks. The character model seems very short to me. Okay, like there's a point when I was in Transylvania and I was walking down the banks of this creek and the banks were kind of like undercut and they were taller than me. Like, am I a hobbit? That's kind of what it feels like. I think that they need to adjust the height of the character in the game. It just feels like you're very short. This next one has to do with the render distance. And you know what? I didn't even mention the render distance. The render distance is like 800 yards, which is crazy. Okay, it's got a fantastic render distance in this game. You can see animals from so far away. You could take the longest shots in this game. But we need a spotting scope. There should have been a spotting scope available in this game right from the get-go, especially the fact that this game, you have to look at the animals. You have to look at them, see their characteristics. You have to see how old they are. You have to see if that mature male is worth letting grow a little bit more to see if you could get that 5-star out of them. And as of right now, the binoculars don't have any zoom. And as you can see, trying to get close enough to these animals is not easy. So this game is in desperate need of a spotting scope or at least binoculars where you can zoom in to get a good look at these animals. And honestly, a spotting scope is what I want. I feel that the binoculars, the way they are, the binoculars work absolutely fine. Okay, a spotting scope is what I want to see come to this game because the render distance is so far and it is so important to look at the animal and see what's going on with it that it just really shocks me that they didn't add that right away. Another thing that I would like to see maybe addressed, or I don't know, and it's the spook distance. It really is because, like I said, I feel like going prone, crawling as slow as you can, and with the wind being decent, and them not having a direct visual line to you, and they spook like that, like that just seems weird to me. I don't really understand the spook distance in this game, and it does seem like that there's other animals that spook even worse than that. Mountain goats, I swear to God, if you get within like 200 yards of mountain goats, it seems like they spook as well. It might be something I'm doing wrong. You know, again, this game is still very new. There's still a lot that none of us know about it. So it would be interesting to just find that out. But, you know, at the end of the day, guys, I don't want to see this game become easier, right? I like the game the way it is. You know, the spooking distance is just something that I would like to just understand a little bit more. Maybe I just got to play the game more and really learn it and figure it out. But yeah, I don't want to see this game end up the way Call of the Wild did. And you know, before we leave, I do just want to address the Call of the Wild thing. Again, there are only 3 good hunting games. There's the Hunter Classic, the Hunter Call of the Wild, and Way of the Hunter. That's it. The hunting simulator games, they were garbage. Okay, they're not good games. So there's only 3 really good games that we have right now, and so you have to compare them. What else am I going to compare it to? This game, I feel, is more of a direct comparison to the Hunter Classic. Okay, but this is what I wanted Call of the Wild to be. Now, I can say this. I don't care. This is going to probably piss off a lot of the Call of the Wild people who are, you know, very much dedicated and loyal to that game. And I get it. I get it, guys. I do. But back in the beginning, when I first started playing Call of the Wild, you know, I liked it. But then I got wind of Classic. And I just seen gameplay. I was watching the content creators, and I was seeing a lot of the things that they had in Classic that I just wished EW would have put in Call of the Wild so much, right? The scoring system. Oh, that's what needs... Okay, wait a minute. That's what needs to be fixed in this game. The scoring system. It's got a universal scoring system, much like Call of the Wild did when it first started. The highest score that an animal could get is 500 in this game. It goes across the board. They don't use any realistic scoring. That needs to go. That's one of the things that I'm very adamant about that I feel really needs to go. And another thing I forgot to mention was that the guns have like no recoil. Call of the Wild does recoil so much better than this game. In this game, there is no recoil. They need to do something about that. Okay, but getting back to my other point, way back when Call of the Wild, when you would watch the streams and it was TK and Graham, so many people would put in the comments about how they wanted things to change, how they wanted more classic stuff brought in, more of the game mechanics. Like, for the example, the spawns. On Classic, every time you turn the game off and turn the game back on, you get new spawns. Okay, the animals don't stay on the map. That's great, because with Call of the Wild, you can go back to the same need zone every day at the exact same time, and as long as you don't kill those animals, they will be there. You can set your clock to them, and that gets boring. I'm sorry, it just really does. You know, with this game, as you can see, these deer, they were back there. They ran up to here. Now, tomorrow, they may not be here. They may be. They may be at that spot for the next couple days, right? It looks like they might be thinking about coming back. So as you can see, look how, if they are deciding to come back, look how long it took them to decide to come back. If this was Call of the Wild, you'd spook them, wait 10 seconds, they'd turn right around and they'd start coming right back. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, guys, what I have to say about this game is that it's just a better experience for me personally. Those are my personal feelings about it. I don't feel this game is going to kill the Call of the Wild, but it has for me. This game has killed Call of the Wild for me, and you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because, you know, I've been playing Call of the Wild for a very long time, so I can have these opinions. It's not that Call of the Wild is a bad game. It's just this has more of the things that I want in a hunting game that Call of the Wild doesn't have. And to be fair, guys, at this point in the game, I just feel it's too little too late for EW. Possibly this game may light a fire under EW and they start adding more realism into their game and they start changing things. But for me, it's just too little too late. It's something that I feel that they should have done a long time ago. Instead, they catered to the newer players that didn't want to put the time in. They dedicated the game to people that, you know, they wanted it to be easier. There was a time in Call of the Wild when diamonds were rare. Like, it was so hard to get a diamond, and now everybody knows how to get a diamond. You just grind for them, and diamonds pop up on the map, and everybody's getting them. And, you know, if you're playing Call of the Wild and you're not getting diamonds, it's because you're just not using the mechanics, you know, to get the diamonds. You know, but you can. And honestly, if you're bored with diamonds and you don't want to hunt that way, then I would say come over to this game because it's a completely different experience. The one thing I can say about it is that the trophy hunting, I don't even care about. Obviously, I want a big 4 or 5 star, you know, mule deer or whitetail or moose. But the fact of the matter is, it's so difficult to even get deer or any animal in this game that when you do, and when you track it, and when you finally get it, it's such a rewarding experience. It really is. So, guys, that is my review. Those are my thoughts on the new game. I hope you're enjoying it. You know what? If you like Call of the Wild better, fantastic. That's awesome. If you enjoyed this game better, fantastic. That's awesome. We finally have 2 amazing hunting games that are for PC and console that gives 2 separate experiences. And you know what? That's something to be excited about. So I'm not going to bring any of this down. Call of the Wild is an amazing game, more fast-paced. It is what it is. Way of the Hunter, more realistic, slower-paced game. You know, yeah, I mean, you guys just have to decide what it is you like more in a hunting game. And there's totally room for both of these games to coexist in anyone's gaming library. So guys, that's where we're going to cut this video today. I know it went on a little long. I do apologize about that, but there's just so much to talk about in this game that I really don't know how to, whittle it down to like a 5-minute video. I hope you're all having a fantastic time. I hope you're enjoying whatever hunting game you enjoy. And thank you so much for watching, guys. And we'll see you next time. Happy hunting.